Talk about a timely topic, huh? Power outages. Seems like they're happening more and more these days.
Right. Definitely not just you.
Between crazy weather and, I don't know, our power grids feeling a little outdated, maybe.
Yeah, aging infrastructure for sure.
Blackouts are starting to feel like, well, just part of life, which is not exactly reassuring. So that's why we're diving into this whole power outage preparedness thing, specifically those first 72 hours, right after the lights go out. Because let's face it, that's when things can get, well,
dicey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're turning to the experts for this one, and luckily there's a great resource out there, Surviving What's Coming. They're all about making this stuff, emergency preparedness, not so intimidating, especially if you're just starting out.
Which is so important, right? Because it can feel overwhelming.
100%.
Yeah.
So we're going to break down one of their videos, really get into the nitty-gritty of what to do when the power goes kaput. And I gotta say, they don't mess around. They jump right in, talking about having a dedicated power outage kit.
Makes a huge difference.
Right. I mean, I feel like I have candles scattered around and
flashlights in random drawers.
Exactly. But they're saying, nope, get it all together, one place, ready to go. Obviously, you got your flashlights, batteries.
Check.
But here's where it gets interesting. They're big on having a portable radio. A radio.
Oh.
In the age of smartphones, right? So tell me, why is that so crucial? Is my phone really going to let me down when I need it most?
Well, think about it. When the power goes out, what usually happens?
Everything shuts down.
Often, yeah. Cell towers, internet, your fancy smartphone could become a very expensive paperweight. But a battery-powered radio or even one of those hand crank ones.
Oh, like the old school one?
Exactly. Suddenly, that's your lifeline to emergency broadcasts, weather updates, vital information when you need it most.
It's funny how the simplest things, right?
Low tech, high impact.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that actually segues perfectly into another thing they emphasize, energy conservation. Which, okay, I'll admit, my first thought is always save money on the electricity bill, but
it's a whole different ball game during a blackout.
Right. So break it down for us. What's the big deal about conserving energy when the power's already out?
Well, if you're running on generators or batteries, that power becomes super precious. Your phone, for example, goes from being, a time suck to
a lifeline. Yeah, we talked about that.
Right, and Surviving What's Coming, they're all about practical tips for making that power last. And their founder, Coach Dex, he has a great way of explaining it so it makes sense, even if you're not, an electrician or whatever.
Yeah. What's one of the things he says?
One thing that surprised me, actually turning off appliances. Not just to save power while the outage is happening, but to prevent, get this, hazards when the power comes back on.
Hazards? Like what? I'm kind of scared to ask.
Imagine a power surge.
Right.
Right.
Well, those are never good.
Could fry your electronics. Even worse, a short circuit could spark a fire. And now you've got a whole other emergency on your hands.
Okay, that is not what I want to be dealing with in a blackout. See, these are the things, you don't think about. And it's all about safety, which is another big thing. Surviving What's Coming stresses in their video. It's like, yeah, common sense.
Adrenaline's pumping, you're stressed.
Exactly. Common sense goes out the window.
Right. So they break down the basics, like candle safety. Seems obvious, but under pressure,
mistakes happen.
Exactly. Same with generators. They're lifesavers, but only if used correctly. Ventilation.
Because otherwise,
carbon monoxide, silent killer.
Not good. And speaking of things we need to survive, let's not forget the
essentials.
Yeah, food and water. Especially if this blackout's dragging on, those first 72 hours are crucial. And it's not just about, snacks, right? We're talking about
fueling your body. Staying healthy.
Exactly. And Surviving What's Coming, they really emphasize that whole food preservation thing.
Because a warm fridge?
Recipe for disaster. Literally.
Food poisoning on top of everything else. No thanks.
Hard pass. So what's their advice there?
1 gallon of water per person per day. Minimum. Easy to remember.
And have it on hand before the lights go out, right?
Ideally, yes.
Okay, so much good information here. If you could leave our listener with just one thing to really take to heart, what would it be?
Surviving What's Coming gives you a great starting point. But like we've been saying, personalization is key. Think about your specific needs, right? Pets, medications. Do you live in a flood zone? A place that gets hit with blizzards every winter? Take that into account.
So it's not just about following a checklist blindly. It's about being proactive.
Exactly. Take control. Make a plan that works for your life.
Love that. Empowerment, not fear-mongering.
Exactly.
Big thanks to Surviving What's Coming for their awesome video. And listeners, seriously, check out their YouTube channel. Look up Coach Dex. He's the founder. He really knows his stuff. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into power outage preparedness. Until next time, stay curious and stay prepared.